This videotape is part 2 of a 2-part series designed to augment your vessel's current training program as set forth by the STCW Personal Survival Techniques and CFR 46, paragraph 199.180. This video contains the following sections: lifeboats, fast rescue boats, helicopter rescues, and conclusion. This section contains the following subjects: lifeboat construction and equipment, lifeboat launching, lifeboat operation, lifeboat recovery. Lifeboats are considered to be the primary life-saving equipment aboard ships. They differ in their construction, but certain features and parts are the same on lifeboats. Lifeboats are normally double-ended and are usually made of galvanized steel, aluminum, or fiberglass. Lifeboats are marked with the vessel's name, the vessel's port of registry, the capacity in cubic feet, the number of persons allowed in the boat, and the lifeboat's number. Lifeboats are provided with standard equipment to help in handling the lifeboat, survival at sea, and to alert rescuers. Included in the lifeboat's equipment are 2 sea painters, 1 gallon of storm oil, 1 sea anchor, a heaving line, oars, 2 boat hooks, 2 hatchets, a bailer, 2 buckets, a drinking cup, a bilge pump, a first aid kit, provisions, water, desalting kit, flashlight, matches, lantern, and illuminating oil, 2 extra life preservers, table of life-saving signals, floating orange smoke distress signals, red rocket parachute flares, red handheld distress signals, signaling mirror, compass, gunnel ladder, ditty bag, jackknife, fire extinguishers, and a toolkit. The 4 major types of shipboard davits are radial davits, mechanical davits, free fall systems, and gravity davits. The most common and easily operated davits are gravity davits. Gravity davits move the boat from the inboard to the outboard position by lifting the winch brake release lever or pulling the launch control wire. Gravity is the force that moves the boat and lowers it to the water. Before the boat is lowered to the water, the sea painter must be rigged and the lifeboat drain must be closed. When rigging the sea painter, care must be taken to ensure that it is rigged outboard of any obstructions. The sea painter should be attached to a strong point on the ship and to the forward inboard thwart of the lifeboat. The painter should be attached to the thwart with a toggle, which allows it to be released quickly and safely. Once the lifeboat is lowered to the water, as per the posted instructions, it must be released from the falls. The releasing gear installed in the lifeboat will release both ends of the lifeboat at the same instant. The releasing lever is clearly marked with the statement, "Caution, lever drops boat." It is extremely important that the boat is not released until it has reached the water. Launching procedures are vessel-specific. They can be found on the vessels and are practiced in the weekly lifeboat drill. After a lifeboat loads its full complement and descends to the water, it must get clear of the ship. If the ship is making way, use the sea painter to clear away from the ship's side. Once the lifeboat is clear, release the sea painter. If the ship is dead in the water, the boat hooks located inside the boat must be used to fend off the lifeboat. Then, using the oars, hand propelling gear or motor, move away from the ship. Once clear, make sure all survival craft stay together and in the general vicinity of the abandoned ship. Lifeboat engines only have fuel to operate for 24 hours. This fuel should be used to maneuver in heavy weather or rescue operations. The sea anchor, which keeps the boat end-on to the winds and sea, as well as the storm oil, which helps prevent the seas from breaking, should be used to create a more safe and comfortable riding boat. In order to safely retrieve the lifeboat, the ship should be positioned so the empty davit is on its lee side. The lifeboat should maneuver ahead of the ship. The ship should then overtake the lifeboat, with both making way through the water on parallel courses. Then pass the sea painter from the ship to the survival craft. After securing the painter, stop the boat propeller or boat the oars. Bring the lifeboat alongside the ship using the boat's steering gear. After the falls are hooked, hoist the boat clear of the water. The boat can then be raised and secured in its stowed position. This section contains the following subjects: fast rescue boats, construction and equipment, startup and shutdown procedures, recovery techniques, Fast rescue boats have deep V planing hulls and are of rigid construction, usually fiberglass or aluminum, to which is attached a multi-chambered inflatable or foam-filled collar or sponson, which forms the topsides and gunnels. Common acronyms: RIB, Rigid Inflatable Boat; RHI, Rigid Hulled Inflatable; and RHIB, Rigid Hulled Inflatable Boat. Ribs range in size from 12 to 46 feet. They are powered by outboards, diesel inboard outdrives, sea drives, and inboard jets, single or twin. Ribs are generally designed to move fast enough to outrun wind-generated waves at a theoretical maximum of 28 knots. The equipment in the boat includes a sea anchor, first aid kit, sponson foot pump, heaving line, radar reflector, flashlights, bailer, mooring line, flares, and thermal protective aids. Also included in the boat's equipment are flotation devices, an anchor, a boat hook, oars, a line bag, and fire extinguisher. Spare engine parts, including engine oil, is also carried. To properly start the fast rescue boat, the following steps should be taken. Turn on the rescue boat's batteries and lower the outdrives if applicable. Making sure the throttle is in idle, turn the ignition key to the start position. If the engine does not start, wait 2 minutes before trying again. When the engine starts, check for oil pressure immediately. Allow the engine to warm up at idle speed, but do not run at idle for more than 10 minutes. Shut the engine down if any alarms are heard. Make sure to check for normal operating ranges on the oil pressure gauge, the temperature gauge, the voltmeter, and the tachometer. The following is the shutdown procedure. Allow the engine to idle for 3 to 5 minutes before shutdown. Turn off the ignition. If required, raise the outdrive to the full up position. Be sure to center the helm before raising the outdrive to avoid damaging the outdrive housing. Finally, turn off the batteries. Never turn off the batteries when the engine is running. The two methods for rescuing distressed people from the water are the direct approach and the indirect approach. The following directions constitute the direct approach to a rescue. Approach from downweather with bow pointed slightly away from the victim. Reduce speed soon enough that the boat will come off plane at least 2 boat lengths from the victim. Make the final approach at minimum speed required to maintain positive control of the boat, also known as steerage speed. The coxswain will announce port or starboard loudly to signal to the crew the side of the boat on which to pick up the victim. Just before the victim is even with the bow, shift to neutral. Gliding alongside the victim, make the final corrections with the wheel only. When the victim is alongside the boat, after the bow has passed him, turn the wheel toward the victim. Leave engines in neutral until the victim is aboard. The indirect approach is a variation of the direct approach. Its application is in heavy or breaking seas, steep chop, strong wind, or whenever a direct approach poses too great a hazard to the victim. From the coxswain's standpoint, the boat operation sequence in the indirect approach is the same as in the direct approach, except that the rib is brought to a stop in neutral, 6 to 8 feet abeam of the victim. The indirect approach involves the use of a throwing device and can only be used for conscious victims who are able to assist in their own rescue. Be sure the boat is stopped before the crewmen throw anything to the victim. The crewman holds on to his end of the line or webbing. The victim is told to hold on to the flotation device tightly, is pulled to the side of the boat, and then brought aboard. There are several ways a helicopter might be used to rescue survivors or evacuate injured mariners. A rescue basket, rescue net, rescue sling, Stokes litter, and ship landing. Rescue baskets and rescue nets are usually used for survivors who can help themselves. Only one person at a time should be lifted by a basket or net. After the device touches the deck of the ship or the water, it is safe to enter. It is important that it touch down first to discharge static electricity. Once inside the basket or net, the survivor should sit down and keep his hands inside. A rescue sling is a padded loop that is placed over the body and underneath the arms. The survivor's arms are held around the sling and his hands are clasped in front. The Stokes litter is used to hoist victims who have serious injuries. To use the litter, it is necessary to get help from other crew members. The straps must be disconnected and spread out, and the blankets must be removed. The victim should be put in and covered with the blankets, and the strap should be snugly fastened with the pad on top of his chest. If a rescue is taking place in the water, a rescue swimmer is deployed to assist the survivors with getting into the rescue device. Some very large ships have a helicopter landing area on the deck. This area can be utilized to safely load a victim for a medical evacuation. The following hoisting signals may be used to assist the helicopter crew in the rescue effort. To signal "Do not hoist," the arm should be extended horizontally, fingers clenched, and thumbs down. The signal for hoist is arms raised above the horizontal with the thumbs up. In all cases of a helicopter rescue, it is important to follow the helicopter's crew's instructions carefully. When being transported from the rescue device into the helicopter, let the crew move you. Do not attempt to assist, as it can cause a dangerous situation. The ability to survive a disaster at sea depends on several criteria. Training and drills will become invaluable if you are the unfortunate victim of such a disaster. Being aware of the emergency and safety equipment available to you, as well as where it is located and how to use it, is paramount. Despite the knowledge, the single most important factor in survivorship is the will to live.